Hey, welcome. Today we're talking about something many of you might be experiencing, parental burnout. So if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with a lot of the hard stuff around parenting a bipolar teen, the emotional roller coaster, walking on eggshells, feeling exhausted, scared. So research shows that parents in your situation experience significantly higher levels of stress compared to parents of children without mental health challenges. So I want you to know three things right away. What you're feeling is real, true, and valid, and important to look at and address. You're not alone with this challenge. And there are strategies and things you can do that can help decrease parental burnout. So today's video is just designed to give you some simple practical tools to manage your own well-being while continuing to support your teen because your health matters too. So parental burnout, it's not just ordinary tiredness. This is a specific issue due to continuous stress being a parent. And like I said, there's higher rates among those caring for children with special needs or mental health conditions. So some of the signs of parental burnout include emotional exhaustion, feeling drained, overwhelmed, depleted, sometimes emotional distancing or feeling shut down and becoming less responsive to your teen's needs. Sometimes thinking back to who you were and thinking like, I'm not the parent I used to be. I don't recognize who I am anymore. Reduced sense of accomplishment, feeling like nothing you do makes a difference and that you don't know what to do anymore and that you're at a dead end. So these are unique challenges that can accelerate burnout. And so some of these very specific, unique challenges include trying to manage and predict those unpredictable, sometimes mood episodes, navigating those risky behaviors during the manic phases, being there and supporting your teen through those really tough, depressive episodes, and coordinating sometimes really complicated, frustrating treatment plans with all the providers, even getting the right diagnosis. So just trying to figure out what is going on with your teen and how to solve that problem. Advocating within school and healthcare systems can be really draining. And maybe you're also managing your own mental health diagnosis or maybe your own mood disorder. So according to the research from the National Institute of Mental Health, caring for a child with bipolar disorder, it creates really unique and distinctive stressors that can impact parents' physical and emotional health over time. And I'll stress over time. It slowly just sort of erodes our capacity. So just know the exhaustion that you're feeling. It's not just in your head, it's literally in your body. So parents of children with mood disorders, they often have physical issues related to chronic stress. And this could be higher levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It can be increased inflammation in the body, and it can also be a compromised immune system. So this explains why a lot of parents talk about getting sick more often, really having poor sleep, and even developing health issues that may be stress related. So the mind-body connection is real, and acknowledging the physical impact of your caregiving role, it's just the first step towards addressing it, towards figuring out how to care for yourself. Now, given what we know about the physical and emotional toll of caregiving, self-care, it's not a luxury, it's essential. Yet many parents, understandably so, especially those parents with children facing significant challenges, they place their own needs last, which, I mean, it just shows the love you have for your child and that you do anything to help your child. Yet that type of expenditure of energy, it's just after a while, we just crash. So experts have found that consistently neglecting your own well-being, it doesn't make you a better parent. In fact, the opposite may be true. So just know that when parents practice regular self-care, they oftentimes become more patient with their children. They're better able to manage crisis. They're more effective advocates, and they're able to be more consistent with boundaries and routines. So remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary for sustainable caregiving for the long haul. So as that airplane instruction reminds us that you've probably heard a million times, you put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. So now let's talk about specific research-backed strategies to prevent and manage the burnout. And let's start with the basics that can support your physical health. So we can look at sleep, prioritizing any ways that you can get better quality sleep. And I know that's hard if your child's in an episode. You could focus on nutrition, so putting good food in your body. And I know some of the barriers is having time to shop for food, having time to prepare the food, but just do what you can. Movement. So even short bursts of physical activity can help reduce that cortisol, that stress hormone. So even jumping jacks, running in place, going outside, taking some deep breaths can over time really make a significant impact. Now, research has also shown that parents who develop these skills experience less burnout. So some of these skills include some sort of mindfulness practice. And so mindfulness means staying in the present moment as much as possible without judging yourself. Self-compassion. So treating yourself with kindness, such as the kindness a really dear friend would offer you if you told them your troubles. Emotional awareness, so just recognizing and name what you feel without judgment. So example, like right now I'm feeling really irritated. Um, Now just know that isolation increases that burnout risk. So keep turning towards your support network or build up your support network. And so some ideas of support networks are continuing to connect with parents through organizations like the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. It's also known as DBSA. Parents who get it, who are there or who've been there. Be selective about who you share with. So seek out understanding, non-judgmental listeners and also consider parent-to-parent support groups specifically aimed for families affected by bipolar disorder. So you know you're not alone and you just get that additional deeper support. Now, all these practical approaches, they make a difference. So some of these practical approaches include what's called respite care. So that's scheduling regular breaks, seeing if someone can step in and take over the caregiving role and tasks so that you can just step away from any chaos, any crises, and just give yourself a break. Task sharing, so trying to distribute the tasks and the responsibilities so that you're not doing it all on your own. And then setting boundaries, so learning how to say no to certain commitments or obligations. And don't hesitate to seek support for yourself or your family. So, family therapy can be helpful for if you have a spouse, if you have other children, of course, for your teen and for yourself, so that you all learn different coping strategies, new communication skills. Also, individual therapy can really help. It gives you a space to go to. Non-judgmental person is there and trained to give you more strategies, more coping skills. And also just consider programs, again, specifically designed for parents of children with mood disorders. So parents of teens with bipolar disorder, they often deal with crisis. And I imagine you've been through crisis, you might be going through one right now. So you might already know and have a plan in place, but just remember it not only helps your teen, but it also reduces your own anxiety. So some key components of a crisis plan include emergency contacts clearly listed on your phone, somewhere at home, having all the medication listed, maybe in your phone and also on a piece of paper at home, knowing and getting more familiar with the warning signs and triggers that your teen is moving into an episode, any type of de-escalation practices and strategies that specifically work for your teen, and knowing the clear steps to get higher levels of care. So when crises do occur, parents who have self-care strategies and practices often recover more quickly and often report that they have a deeper sense of emotional resilience and strength to deal with it. Now, many teens with bipolar disorder describe feeling more like case managers than parents, and this role can contribute significantly to burnout. So here are some ways to try to maintain your parental identity. So try to schedule some non-treatment related activities with your teen. So something fun, something simple. See if you can create some space, some joy, some peace, some connection that's not focused on managing the illness. And see if you can have other adults take on some of the more management aspects whenever possible. And just remember that your relationship with your teen transcends their diagnosis. And I know you know this, they're more than their diagnosis. Now let's talk about what might be stopping you from prioritizing your well-being, which I get, like there's guilt, like I could be doing so much more, I should be doing so much more. But remember that self-care, it ultimately benefits your teen and your family. Understandably so, you might have time constraints. So again, just start with really little minimal practices, 2 to 5 minutes. You might have financial limitations, which is totally common and totally needs to be taken into consideration. So just think about any strategies that don't cost anything. You might feel overwhelmed and don't even know where to begin. So again, just begin with one small change. So even these small self-care practices, when done over time, they have a cumulative effect and really significant positive effects on your own burnout level. And raising a teen with bipolar disorder, it prevents so many challenges that parents without teens with mental health challenges, they never face. So the strength and the resilience you demonstrate daily deserves recognition. And I'm just going to pause for a moment and say, you're amazing. You are doing amazing, hard work, and I commend you. And just remember that managing your own well-being, it isn't separate from caring for your teen. It's an essential part of being able to provide the consistent support that your teen needs. So, if you have the bandwidth, think about one strategy that I talked about today that maybe you can incorporate this week. And remember, small steps lead to significant changes over time. So in the description below, I'll put some links to the resources I mentioned, including support groups and crisis planning templates. So thank you. Thank you for the important work you do every single day. And if you want to share in the comments any self-care practices and strategies that work for you, I'd love to hear about them. And feel free to also post any questions you may have about managing burnout. And just remember, you're not alone. Never give up. I see you and I want to support you. So really take good care. Thank you.